Am I still looking at Myro in 2026? Well, the answer is yes. Nothing I say is financial advice, and I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, in the past 24 hours, we did see slightly over a 30% movement when it comes to Myro. And the thing is this, Myro has not been doing good whatsoever, right? For quite a while. However, as of right now, we're starting to see somewhat a slight recovery. Who knows if it's going to be prolonged? My kind of reaction is if there is an altcoin season, if let's say there's a drastic change when it comes to the sentiment, when it comes to altcoins for whatever reason, then okay, we'll see what happens. But if there's none of that, maybe there's going to be a ceiling. But only time will tell. I'll wait and see what happens. However, I have not given up. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But sometimes people like to tell me, well, okay, it's down as of right now, even despite this slight recovery. I'm totally aware of that. It's currently around 26 times lower than 20 cents. But the thing is this, at the idea of hypothetically 20 cents, the market cap considering current circulating supply would be around 190 million. But still, Myro is currently around 26 times lower than that. The thing is this, when it comes to Myro, we have seen actually it reach a market cap of around 368 million back in 2024, which granted, that was at March of 2024, so we're talking about nearly 2 years ago at this point. But the thing is, 190 million in terms of market cap, it's like almost 2 times lower than that. You know what I mean? And that's actually the market cap it would have, considering current circulating supply at the idea of 20 cents, again, around 190 million. So if let's say we assume that that's not even an altcoin season, which I don't think actually I've seen an altcoin season during this cycle, but besides that, so for around 190 million market cap, right? Myro just has to go back to where it was in like June of 2024. So if for whatever reason the sentiment when it comes to altcoins goes back to where it was back in June of 2024, and assuming Myro did what it did, okay, the market cap's around 190 million, and that's not even an altcoin season. And still, we're around 26 times lower than 20 cents. And the market cap, again, we're around 26 times lower than actually 190 million, right? This is just my perspective. But sometimes people could tell me, well, this doesn't have a good use case. Well, I mean, okay, it's a meme. Like, what use case is it really supposed to have beyond just being what it is, right? Like some people out there, they like to tell me, oh, the use case needs to be like this or like that. But sometimes if I'm looking for a use case within this space, that's not the space I would be looking at. You know what I mean? It's like me trying to buy a hamburger, but I actually want to buy a hot dog. How does that make sense? I just don't get it. If I want a hamburger, then I'm going to get a hamburger, right? If I want a hot dog, then I'm going to get a hot dog. If I want to get a cheeseburger, then I'll get a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? So if I'm looking for a use case, I'm not going to be looking for memes. That's the way to take a look at it, generally speaking, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But the thing is, within this space, it's more so about kind of the branding, more so about kind of the cool factor, the uniqueness. It's more about stuff like that. It's not really about like the use case sometimes. Myro, it's named after Raj Gokhal's dog. Now, Raj Gokhal is one of the co-founders when it comes to Solana, and he has a pet dog, and again, they named it after his pet dog. However, when I take a look at other projects out there that are named after famous individuals' pet, we take a look at, for instance, Floki, right? Floki is named after Elon's pet dog. We also take a look at, for instance, something called Toshi. Toshi, because it is on the Base network, and the thing is this, Base is Coinbase's layer 2, and the thing is, Coinbase, one of the co-founders is Brian Armstrong. And the thing is this, again, they named Toshi after Brian Armstrong's pet cat, which again is named Toshi. So there's a little bit of a theme going on when it comes to this space of some memes out there being named after famous individuals' pets, right? So the way I take a look at it is that when it comes to something like Myro, okay, sure, it doesn't have the best use case out there, but if we have to consider just kind of the, I guess, naming aspect side of things, I think there's a story behind that, right? Because again, Myro is on Solana, and then Raj Gokhal is one of the co-founders when it comes to Solana. So overall, when I take a look at Solana though, as a layer 1 blockchain, sure, the popularity hasn't necessarily been the best as of late, but what layer 1 blockchain has had the best popularity as of late, other than, let's say, like Ethereum. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of them have been reducing in terms of popularity, and even Ethereum, right? We saw like a pullback, but it's still, of course, way more popular than Solana. But I'm just saying, if let's say there is kind of that resurgence when it comes to Solana, we'll wait and see what happens though. But in the past, we've seen some projects out there kind of go along with the ride. But we'll have to wait and see what happens when it comes to this. But I just haven't necessarily given up, because my perspective is that, okay, sure, as of right now, even despite this recovery, slightly, I would say, in the grand scheme of things, like the market cap's still below 10 million, right? So we're not talking about a big project by any means. But because I am looking to dollar cost average, why would I complain if something is low? It's like, for instance, I'm not even saying it has to do anything with this, right? In a totally different make-believe hypothetical example, if I want to buy a t-shirt at a store and it's at a discount, am I going to complain? I don't think I would. That's in real life though, right? It has nothing to do with this, but I'm just saying. In real life, if I see a discount, I actually like it. So the lower something is, if the quality stays the same, then I would be very happy. But for whatever reason, sometimes, in a totally different example, my friends, when they take a look at this space, if they see something down, then they suddenly don't like it. Now, it's totally their choice. I mean, I can't make a decision for anyone, right? I can only speak on my behalf. However, I sometimes like to think, okay, if at a store I like discounts, why am I like frustrated if I see a pullback here? The more I thought about it, the more I was like, how does that make sense? Now, granted, if that's a project that I believe in, then I would have somewhat of that mentality. But if I don't have this mindset or mentality where I believe in the project, then of course, yeah, I don't want to believe in it. But for me, I just haven't given up. That's my perspective. Now, some people like to ask me why I haven't given up. The thing is this, the reason why I haven't given up and why I'm still like, believing in this space is because I never found a perfect moment to just try to believe like all at once like that. No, that's never been my situation or the thing that I did. The thing for me is literally, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, right? But I am dollar cost averaging once a month into the projects that I'm a fan of. That's it. I'm not doing any more than that. I'm not doing any less than that. Because I treat it like a marathon. It's not a sprint for me. If I'm trying to find the perfect moment, how would I know? Like, there's no way for me to know that, right? Had I assumed for whatever reason that like, maybe like July of 2025 was the low when it comes to Myro, suddenly it wasn't, right? Because market cap at that point was around 20 million. Now it's like still even below 10 million. So I'm saying, like, personally, in my perspective, I'll never be able to know exactly when something could or could not happen. When it comes to an altcoin season as well, that's totally beyond my control. But what I'm doing is I'm preparing in case something were to happen. I don't know if it could or I don't know if it would, but I'm just preparing and just waiting. Because keep in mind, if I want to use a totally different example, like for instance, Bitcoin at one point was like at $10, right? Was I still living my life at that point? Yeah. But I wasn't waiting for anything, right? I wasn't waiting for that. So then it kind of did its thing without me. The thing is this space, no matter the project, no matter the direction, it's going to do it with or without me. Either, I believe in it or not, it's going to do its thing with or without me, right? If I just exited everything when it comes to my projects, which I could do, but hypothetically I don't want to do that, but I'm just saying, even if I did that, like the space is still going to do its thing with or without me. Like there's over 600 million owners allegedly right now when it comes to this space overall. I'm not talking about Myro, I'm just talking about this space overall, generally speaking. I'm just one individual. If I leave, it's not going to care at all. You know what I mean? This is just my mindset. So for me, I like to be waiting for something as opposed to not, because I'm still going to have to live my life this year anyways, right? I'm going to still have to make it through January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and all that. So whether I'm waiting for something or not, I'm still going to have to live my life. That's the way to take a look at it. And I prefer to be waiting for something as opposed to not. However, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my perspective. And I want to say, in case someone is watching this and in case they didn't watch my previous videos, I want to say Happy New Year's, right? Even though it's already 2026, but I'm just saying, I hope you all have a very nice day. And I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. It's Moon Lee the Captain, and I'll see y'all on the next video.